Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we take you to Hainan, China, a place once called the tropical jewel of Asia, now shaken by one of the strongest storms of 2025. On August 24th, Typhoon Kajiki, known locally as John Yu, roared across the coast. It did not even make a direct landfall, yet its outer bands alone were powerful enough to turn a luxury resort city into a battlefield of fear. On the night of August 24th, Sanya City, located on the southern tip of Hainan Island, faced the most brutal test of the year. Typhoon Kajiki struck with winds measured at force 14 on the Beaufort scale. That's about 45 meters per second, nearly 162 kilometers an hour. Residents inside tall buildings said, "It felt like an earthquake that refused to stop." Windows rattled violently. Balcony doors bent inward under the pressure. Rain slammed into glass with such force that families taped their windows in desperation, afraid the panes would explode. Experts later reassured people that the swaying of the towers remained within modern safety standards. But no one could ignore the psychological shock, because when your home begins to shake, logic cannot silence fear. Outside, the city transformed. Social media filled with dramatic videos. Trees snapped in half like twigs. Debris flew across avenues. Billboards shredded into pieces. At Sanya port, a ship tied to the dock was battered by towering waves. Water surged over the concrete pier as the vessel swung wildly, helpless in the storm. The streets of a lively resort city became unrecognizable. Neon lights went dark. Broken branches blocked the main roads. Cars were crushed beneath fallen coconut trees. And above all of this, the terrifying sound, the howling of wind that seemed endless. The storm didn't just topple trees, it shattered the fragile systems that hold a modern city together. Power lines fell across districts, entire neighborhoods plunged into darkness. Repair crews were deployed immediately, but the wind made their work almost impossible. For hours, people lived by flashlight and phone screens. Communication was also disrupted. Cell service dropped. Internet slowed to a crawl. Families turned to social media posts, hoping their messages reached someone. Simple words like, "We're safe," became lifelines. For one night, Sanya, a city of light, reverted to the Stone Age. Please subscribe to Natural Destruction right now so you won't miss any important disaster reports. Sanya is often called the Hawaii of China. Its beaches attract millions of tourists every year, but under Kajiki, the jewel dimmed. The Phoenix International Airport suspended all flights. Thousands of passengers were stranded in terminals. Trains were canceled. Highways closed due to flooding and debris. Intercity buses halted for safety. Even offshore, more than 800 workers were evacuated from rigs and platforms. The once busy beaches of Sanya fell silent. Luxury hotels turned into dark fortresses. The economy of Hainan, built on sunshine and tourism, froze overnight. Let's pause here. Because beyond statistics, there are human voices. This is the story of Ms. Liu An, 32 years old, who lives on the 20th floor of a high-rise apartment. She recalls, "The whole building shook again and again. My daughter, only 5 years old, cried uncontrollably. My husband grabbed tape and sealed the windows. The wind screamed, the glass trembled, and rain hammered the walls. I thought, if this continued any longer, our building would break in half." Her words capture the truth. People did not just face physical danger that night. They faced psychological torment. They survived the storm outside, but inside, many died 1,000 small deaths of fear. Kajiki was not only wind, it carried torrential rain, more than 250 millimeters in 24 hours. Underpasses flooded. Low-lying neighborhoods became shallow lakes. City workers scrambled to deploy water pumps. Sandbags piled up in front of shops and homes. The Water Resources Bureau ordered non-stop inspections of levees and drains, fearing flash floods. On social media, photos spread of cars half submerged, people wading through water waist-deep. And the fear after the storm? Diseases carried by contaminated water. The battle was not over when the wind stopped. By dawn on August 25th, the storm began moving westward, toward Vietnam. Sanya was left with destruction, but also with resilience. Crews cleared fallen trees. Electricians worked non-stop to restore power. Officials warned residents to beware of waterborne diseases. The skies remained dark and rainy, but the howling wind had passed. Silence replaced the storm. And in that silence, people began counting their losses. If you found this video valuable, please hit subscribe to Natural Destruction right now so you won't miss vital updates on future disasters. Share this video with friends and family, because every subscription, every share, gives us the strength to keep telling these stories, to raise awareness, and to spread hope in a world increasingly threatened by nature's fury. Thank you, and see you in the next report.